Our third and final best of three of today's proceedings is about to commence. It's the Ninjas in Pajamas against Grayhound, who are hot off the back of upsetting EG, who ended up getting knocked out today. It's strangely enough. It's been a wild one here at the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters Malmö. Myself, Vince, and also Dust are going to be taking you through the action here between the Swedes and the Australians. Dust, your thoughts about this game? Because I think it's safe to say that not many people expected Grayhound to be in this position in the first place.
Yeah, definitely not. A crazy little upset there. To be fair, NiP also had a big upset. They beat Mousesports in the opening best of one to find themselves here. Of course, winner of this gets an automatic spot into the playoffs and a shot at a direct route to the semifinals, actually, as well. And that would be huge for both of these teams because neither one of these teams have really had any success this year. I mean, NiP started the year off okay at the major, getting a top 8 at Katowice. But from that point forward, really not much else to talk about. Like a lot of group stage exits, not a whole lot going on. Obviously, a lot of roster turmoil, a lot of organizational turmoil. They just picked up Twist right before this event. Plopsky hasn't been on the team that long, and also he had to step out for the major due to roster rules. So that has really made things tough on NiP, I feel like, as far as their stability goes. And then you have on the other side Grayhound, who is, again, one of those teams that rarely has much success outside of their region. You know, same can be said for many of the teams in Asia and Australia. They had an okay run at the major, I guess. They had a couple of good series against Complexity and INTZ, but, you know, didn't really do much else outside of that. And earlier this year, they had that win over FaZe in a best of 3 and Heroic at Sydney. That was a pretty good run on home soil. But outside of that, there's not been much there for them either. So it's two teams really trying to turn their fate around, I guess you could say.
Oh, sure. I mean, in terms of pedigree, though, NiP definitely are an org with some players like Forest, of course,
Sure.
definitely springs to mind that have got such a storied past about them. Real veteran about Forest. But let's have a look how they're going to repel this first attack. Dick Stacy straight out of Palace, able to get in two alongside Ings, who had a very impressive showing against EG, the new recruit. Twist and Plopsky remain. They do have the kits in the hands of Twist, but no grenades to go alongside it. Flash into the CT side. Not going to yield anything, so they're going to turn their attention towards the staircase instead. And Sicko plus Dexter equals a Grayhound first round.
Yeah, that is the big thing worth noting is Aircast, who was a longtime member of this team, no longer a part of it. I think it had something to do with him being a student in Australia or something like that. Then the visas that go along with that ran its course, and so he returned home to Mongolia. And so, yes, Inz has come onto the team. Fairly skilled player. We saw a lot of that yesterday against EG, as you noted. Came up pretty big in that round as well for a couple of kills. Allows Grayhound to go ahead and buy up the AKs, a couple of UMPs, and MAC-10 as well. Force up here is in play from NiP.
Most certainly is. And so far it is yielding so much success. Damage has been put across to the Swedes, but they are battling through it, going berserker. Sicko does have a USP to his name, but encircled by CTs now, one of which is going to be Forest going up into the apps. Two players in kitchen. He still needs to get that bomb planted. A lot of time, doesn't have to rush into it just yet, but the other issue is that now he does have Forest showing his hand. He's got an AK-47, doesn't necessarily need to peek, but he does. Grayhound going to be instantly answered back by NiP.
Great little force up there from NiP, particularly Plotski with 2 big kills. He was in an interview yesterday after the win over Mousesports, and he talked about how important it was for him to be able to get to play in front of his home crowd. He had said that in 2016, he was in the crowd at Malmö cheering for NiP as a youngster, only like 14 years old or so at the time. And now he's 17 or so years old, and he's now going to be having a chance to play for that same organization on the actual stage. That is something to keep in the back of your mind as you watch through the series, how that storyline might unfold.
A bit of confrontation, slipping and sliding in favor of Grayhound now with a bomb plant. Could be yet another force buy that ends up costing the opposition so very much. Scout and MP9s Plopsky being tagged up, but there is the scout from Twist to save his life. Dick Stacy still positioned on Tetris. Deagle's going to land on the cross. There's another one from Sicko. So they have returned the favor. NiP just can't fully get a foothold in the game just yet.
Indeed, a scrappy beginning here to Mirage. No one's been able to get more than one. That means no one's economy has really found itself settled, and it's just going to be the force buy back and forth until someone can win a couple in a row and finally force out that first save. As this economic war rages on, we'll follow Grayhound as they put some utility over here towards the middle. Smoke up on Catwalk, and Somalis went into the window room.
Three players over on A sites. The Swedes digging in deep. Does effectively give up mid, although Forrest is here in ladder room with his Deagle. So if someone does push a little bit too aggressively through shorts, he is going to be able to batter them down. Could be coming into play right now, but Dick Stacy, too fast on the trigger, only losing 45% of his health. Grayhound's going to be able to retrieve the bomb, so this is looking like finally maybe Grayhound can get a proper stranglehold over the game and start to really make this hurt. That being said, Twist, given so many opportunities to connect with his scouts, tagging up Sicko and finishing off Dick Stacy. And now, whereas before it was a stack on A, they have moved across to B, which could be to their detriment.
Indeed, it could be. It's just Twist with the scout that's towards Ticket Booth right now. We do finally see Rez and Lekro making their way over. Also, at least Twist has been able to stay alive, but he's found no kills. Meanwhile, you still have to worry about Sicko. He's still lingering around over in the ladder room. He will be bypassed, though. Plotsky chooses to go through A ramp, not middle.
War rages on. Anybody's round. Post-plant bomb in an awkward position.
Just smoke
There
for
is
it,
a
though.
smoke that's been tossed down towards the connector. They're going to be going on the bomb now. They need to get that defensive line set up. There's no kit. There's no time. It's going to be going to Grayhound. And Twist will not be able to hold on to his scout. So it will be going the way of the terrorists once again, but taking down 4 players with them. Will NiP would have saved them 4. Think about buying again. I thought this was over. Yes, they are. Oh, no.
This is madness. Absolute madness. I guess just trying to chase after what they perceive to be a low economy from Grayhound, which they're right. If they could actually win this round somehow, it would force Grayhound into a save, but it's at their own detriment. I can't for the life of me realize why they wouldn't have just put the smoke on the bomb and tried to stick it. Surely smoking off connector wasn't it. Like, you could get peek from jungle still. So, it seemed like they didn't use that as best as they could. But look, Electro with the Deagle, good for a frag, smoking his way out of there. Rez for support. He does have that M4 as well. That has to be considered.
Yeah, very aggressive play. Going to be sending a shock down Grayhound, that's for sure. But they're still not out of the woods just yet. Of course, it's a great play. They weren't able to get any secondary frag in effect, and it's a heavy stack on A again. And Grayhound correctly called. That is probably going to be too much of a nuisance. So they're going to head to the B site where they're going to meet Plopsky. He's got the CZ. And he now has some support in the form of Forrest. This could be a bit sketchy as well. The bomb's gone down first. He's going to smoke on top of himself. And now Grayhound, if they want to fully commit to killing him, they're going to have to make themselves very vulnerable moving out onto the site, where Crossfire is going to be that much more painful and deadly. This is proving to be a phenomenal round by NiP. Not a single player falls. Exactly what they were looking for.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there. It starts with Lekro's Deagle, and then it gets finished off by the rest of the team being involved. They'll get 2 free AKs for that. And it's the force back from Grayhound, Vince. Let's go, baby. Give me all the force buys. Every single one. You get a force buy. You get a force buy. Let's go.
I mean, Sicko is so very good on the AWP, so this is just stalling him to be able to pick that up and really use it against NiP. But, I mean, I guess you could say the same for NiP as well, right? Like, this is hurting both their economies.
This is wild. Let's see what happens here, though. Sicko is going to be on the mini-op, yes, you could say. Same for Twist. Sicko also no armor behind his. Did we ever come up with a name for that? Like, it can't be a glass cannon. What is it? A glass... Did we ever figure that out?
I don't think we did. I don't think anyone has, to be fair.
Chat recommendations. What should we call a glass scout? Either way, Dexter finds the entry. So is Dick Stacy. The Deagles are firing up, man.
As are the Force Spies. They're all seemingly being successful. Maybe this is where some sanity is going to be brought back. Or perhaps not. Another Deagle. This time it's Plopsky on the receiving end. Malta dips out, as does the bomb carrier of Sicko. They have enough time to go for the rotation. I think now Forrest is realizing that it's going to be coming into play. It's a good call from Grayhound, though. It does get rid of the crossfire that was being established from the Swedes. And Forrest has been caught out. Not quite finished off just yet, but his teammate has. And Forrest surely is living on borrowed time. 8 HP does think ins, to be fair to him. But this time the Force Spy is going to work for Grayhound.
Well, there you have it. Timeout coming in for Grayhound. Does NiP force back fence? Do they do it? Are they madmen? Necro has the Deagle already.
They've got res on 5.1k.
There's another Deagle.
It's looking more like a half.
Why did Twist buy Res a Deagle when Res has $5,100 and Twist needs the money? I don't know.
Open the next round, I guess?
Yeah, I guess they're relying on Res to be the one to buy it next round, yeah.
I guess no one said it in chat, so I saw a glass pea shooter.
Glass thingy.
Yeah, so...
Not sure about that one.
In my mind, I always have it as like a glass stinger, because it's not going to instantly kill you in most cases, but you're going to be stinging for the rest of the round at like 30 HP.
But if they're allergic, aka a headshot, then anaphylactic shock.
Exactly.
I really kind of forced that one in, to be fair. It's not really...
Bee sting hole, it kind of works.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. I can dig it.
Either way, smoke, and as you highlighted, Dust, a few Deagles. But that's basically it. So it seems like NiP are the first team to blink. They are the first team to look away.
Do see the A push coming in here from Grayhound. 2 NiP players in the area to defend. It's going to be up to Rez and Lekro, both with the Deagles. No armor, though. Ends sweeping through with the AK alongside Dexter. Will break down the walls of this A bomb site. Not much there to defend it. I think we're finally settling into the game, Vince. I think we're finally starting to get to, you know, a normal type of game. Mop-up taking place. Grayhound building a lead. NiP now can buy up.
Some handy spray transfer as well from Dick Stacy in mid. Sure, it was against an eco, but you can only beat what's ahead of you. He did that in style. But here we go. Yes, indeed. It is going to be an AWP drop to Twist. No kits, though.
That is true. Could impact them on retakes. Also, a little bit limited utility. Could also have its impact. We do have a little bit of an up-close setup here with Forrest and Lekro. A lot of a stack, actually, towards A. It's really just going to be relying upon Plopsky with that M4 over towards the B-bomb sites. Bomb has been left in T-spawn for now, but a couple players towards the back of mid can easily go back and grab it, or so can Dexter. Nice little window boost here from Malta is going to get an opening here for Grayhound.
And the opening pick for Grayhound with NiP finally with some rifles, finally with an AWP in the hands of Twist, and they've converted very little so far in this round. Some damage to Malta, but still alive, still with a couple of flashbangs. Dick Stacy is scouting for the rest of his team, going in first, looking for the intel. Plopsky, who did so much work earlier here with a CZ, is going to be called upon to deliver more kills. The bloodshed ends at 1 for him. His kill count will not turn into a streak. NiP in the meanwhile, already with Twist at the back of A, seemingly like they've already given this round up. I'm surprised the other two even made a move for Kitchen. Maybe a delayed call, not sure, but now they're all on the same page.
That big pick there from Malta and Window really helped things along. Sicko being in that one that kind of finished the round off. As you noted, NiP just trying to keep these guns over at the A-bomb sites. Keeping that AWP certainly would be helpful. So it is going to be 6-2 to Grayhound. They are off to a nice little start here on Mirage. Neither team actually have a land win rate this year on Mirage, funnily enough. One of the few times you'll kind of see that happen in a matchup. At the end of the day, though, when it was the pick ban, this actually was the pick of Grayhound. NiP picking Overpass, and if a third map is needed, it would be Nuke.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit of Nuke lately. We've casted it a few times already.
Yeah.
Vertigo one time. Mirage quite a few times as well, but it's going to be NiP who are hungry to try and turn the tides. He said this is Grayhound's choice, so can't be too bothered about the current result. Malta wanted to spray through the smoke and then realized, hold on a second, I've got no bullets for magazine. Need to go for that reload.
Yeah, just Grayhound taking a slower approach here. Dexter playing outside the A-bomb site. The rest kind of towards the back of middle or in B apartments with the bomb as well nearby. Twist with the AWP is actually going to be inside the B apartments. We could see a duel break out here very soon between himself and Ins. Molotov goes down, Ins just making sure no one's up close. But he will fade back towards the underpass, and so a focus up now from Grayhound towards middle with almost all of their players, save for Ins, who's still kind of sitting back in the B apartments.
Oh, Lekro, I like that play. He could have got greedy and looked for the kill, but he realizes there's not that many rifles and firepower on their team, or nades. He needs to stay alive, but he's getting battered and bruised through the wooden panels of Connector. His life has deemed forfeit. Ins tries his hand against Twist, who's got one, but it's going to be no more added to his account. And to make matters worse for NiP, Dexter has gone in for an extra kill, leaving Forrest alone. He is making a move up short. If he can get the bomb planter, who's still on the site, which is Sicko, then maybe there's a way back into this. He's not even sure where the bomb is currently planted. Now he's seen Sicko, it's going to give him an idea. He thinks there's a player up in the B-apps, understandably, but they were both moving through kitchen. So Grayhound continue their winning ways. That's now 6 of the last 7 rounds that have gone their way.
Yeah, there's 2 rounds on an island here for the Swedes over at NiP. At least able to get a buyback in. Twist only good for 1 frag that last round on the B apartments hold. Grayhound just overwhelming NiP really across the board. The fragging's actually not too far apart when you look at the scoreboard. But when you look at the amount of rounds, it's certainly a different story. Some aggression here from NiP at top middle. Malta just gets away from it in the smoke, but as he comes back, Lekro finds in between the eyes.
Popsky doing work on the B site all alone. Outnumbered and outgunned in the end. A valiant stand, though. The barrel of the AWP did just give away Sicko. The tip of the barrel, Forrest could see. Ins does bounce back with a kill, and a second one, actually, in the round, but they are still going to get the round. I don't think they're able to pick up the secondary AWP. They were so very close, but didn't quite get it.
Finally, a response from NiP after losing 4 in a row. Money for both these teams actually in a pretty fragile state, so this round definitely can really potentially turn the tides in NiP's favor or allow Grayhound to steam even further ahead. Forrest trapped in the window here. He does put a smoke down, though, that is going to be able to bail him out. Took a lot of damage. In the meantime, Dexter and Ins are looking for Forrest to fall back into the site. Not going to happen, but they are catching Lekro through the boards. That's 2 softened targets now for NiP.
A few cracks developing on the CT side. Their defense not quite looking impenetrable. AK-47 that Lekro was able to move over is now very much vulnerable. Grayhound, in the meanwhile, though, is starting to split up more towards the middle side. Bomb's still in Palace, which is maybe a declaration of intent that eventually their
Oh, it has to
final
be.
resting ground will be on the site of A.
Here's the problem, though. Plopsky's got a flank coming in through B apartments. It just all depends on timing. Whether he decides to go mid or whether he decides to go through T-spawn will also be a big factor. It seems like he's choosing the T-spawn route. How long is it going to take for Grayhound to hit? And if so, can Plotsky get this backstab in? Because that really is what this is going to hinge on, it feels like. NiP are so well positioned, all in all.
Well, that back attack is not going to be quite getting into play just yet and may not be required. Lecro and Forest, with their assault rifles, laying Greyhound to rest, melting through them. The only casualty is Lecro, and they can pick up that AK from his corpse. A big round for the Swedes, not just in terms of confidence, but their economy too.
Big round there for NiP. That push through from Plopsky gave them so much information to be able to basically just stack all of their players towards A, the backstab and 4 near the site itself. So always going to take a brute force effort for Grayhound at that point to win, and they just couldn't do it. So now it's going to be a full save. Nade stack into the window, though. Twist doesn't take too much from it, but look at this flash push in the connector. Dick Stacy catches Rez with the Glock. So has Dexter found one. And they get a bomb plant. What is this?
They're definitely going to get a bomb plant and an M4 too. Sicko, last player standing, but he has the assault rifle. He's going to go for an audacious play. But Plopsky will find his head, and NiP will find a 5th round. But, I mean, as you say, Dust, you got Glocks, and they managed to get 2 kills on a bomb plant. That is so much more than they're anticipating, so much more than they're hoping for.
Yeah, it kind of crazy they got away with that. Still a round victory for NiP, so they're able to close the gap up a bit here, get a few rounds in a row. Finally start to get some footing in this map of Mirage, the pick of Grayhound. Grayhound back onto the full buy. No AWP going to be in play here for Sicko, but AK's all around. Plenty of utility to go with it. Still opening up a fairly default, though there is a little bit of added presence over towards the B apartments early on here.
Like that from the smoke. Plopsky making the most of it. Typically he plays passively on B, but this time wants to mix it up and go for the jugular.
It's very true. Underpass being pressed up now by Enz and Malta. Twist has spotted one towards the A-ramp. Missed a chance, though, at getting the kill, but Lecro has control of Palace, and he might even get this backstab onto Dexter. So that could be huge. You might even find the bomb. Could be a possibility. Meanwhile, Plotsky is catching this window boost. It's all going wrong for Grayhound right now. NiP has such control of this situation.
And Plopsky has done so much by himself, but no one's watching ramp. They assume that smoke was a brick wall. And Dexter's going to take a sledgehammer to it. Lecro, though, is going to catch Sicko. That's the bomb down again. Molotov placed down. Dexter's going to have to push through it into his demise. Just for a moment, when Dexter got out onto the site, he started to believe in it. And he, remember, against EG, he had a ridiculous performance, did Dexter. So, you know, he's got it up his sleeve, but NiP have seemingly woke up now, Dust. They're here.
Yeah, I've seen Dexter be able to pull off big numbers in a lot of their games, to be honest. Definitely one of those guys that can frag for the team alongside Sicko in particular. Enz also seemingly, you know, I haven't seen too much international competition, but he's done really well for them domestically. He's been on the team only for a short time as well, so it's a good look from them. Grayhound here just going to have to work with the Tech 9s, the Mac 10, and the P250s. Smoking their way to try to get up Catwalk, but Rez has shut that down. But here's the big apartment push.
Labored spray. Forrest finally connects enough bullets. Sicko straight into his crosshair. Rez comes back with 2 of his own. So we are tied. It was a pretty rough start. At one point, it was 7-2. The Greyhounds. And now maybe NiP could lead at halftime.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. Forrest up to 14 kills, having a great game over there on the NiP side. 1 kill for as many rounds played. I think that's one of the biggest things that's kind of helped him out, is that he gets to focus on just being a rifler now. He doesn't have to hybrid it, doesn't have to be the primary AWP. Now they have Twist for that, and Twist has struck gold in this round. Opening pick on Malta.
Tide certainly starting to get away from Greyhound, but keep in mind, 7 rounds on T side. Whatever happens from here on out, definitely A solid result. Molotov extinguished in the smoke. Flashbang into connector. They're going to peek up behind that. Actually, not quite. Ins went up from underpass. I thought it was going to be Dick Stacy that went aggressive. Another smoke on the CT side of connector. So this is allowing the terrorists to get a little bit of information for their team.
Still in demand down, though. Haven't found anything against NiP. That bomb is positioned towards the B apartments. You do see Dexter kind of pressing forward with the AK. Could be meeting up with Plotsky here very soon. Sicko also rolling that AWP over into position. A lot on Plotsky, actually, is rotate, which is twist with the AWP. Is actually watching window right now. There's a 3-man A stack from NiP. Plotsky gets jump spotted, but it's not just the information, it's the kill. And that's the B-bomb site wide open.
Wide open on the last round. Flashbang in, but Twist still holds his nerve and pulls the trigger just in time. Forrest has been phenomenal thus far for NiP. He's currently on 14 kills. He's top fragging. He's still alive. That's a horrible Molotov from Lekro. It bounces off the wall and actually blocks Forrest off. That's wasting valuable incendiaries. Also time, and Forrest takes a bit of damage just to get through there. Rez pushing up through the apps. He's going to go down next, and Forrest just has to go straight to Sicko. He may not have enough time. The kill's in. He's going to have to just walk past the bomb. He's given up. And this is where you go back to that failed Molotov.
Indeed, but also got to go back to Sicko.
The solid comeback was thwarted just at the end as Grayhound won their first round in 5 to lead 8-7. But now the roles are reversed on Grayhound's choice of map here on Mirage. Question is, Dust, can they get the second pistol? Can they steamroll towards the finish line?
Are we going to handle the scrappy starts? Maybe the other question. We had a lot of that in the first 5 or so rounds of that first half. Nonetheless, we do see NiP pouring the smokes into this A-bomb site. Molly to follow up, but Ends is in front of it all. Not able to find the frag.
Plethora of action all around. Ins point-blank range executes Plopsky, who was flashed by Sicko. And Twist getting up close. It's a very similar pistol strat to what Grayhound threw against NiP. One that we see time and time again, but these crisp headshots are giving the Swedes the advantage. It's gone from bad to worse now. Grayhound hemorrhaging kills. Malta, last player standing on the CTs with 2 HP and has been finalized courtesy of Forrest. So the second pistol will not go the way of Grayhound, and we're tied up again.
Oh, not at all. NiP able to kind of just box their way through the A-bomb site with those smokes down. It was a bit sloppy at times, sure, but it did happen in the end for them. They tied up the game. 4 spy here from Grayhound. No scout or anything like that, but certainly plenty of pistols and armor in play.
Plenty of opportunities for Grayhound. It's just whether they can capitalize on them. They definitely will have chances to strike. Have gone for a hefty investment, though. Most of their utility is centralized on both Rez and Plopsky. Right. So if one of these players were to fall a little bit early, it would be a lot of investment that goes with them.
And just kind of a default opening here for NiP. Plopsky working through those B apartments. Rez holding the line over at the A side of the map. Mid control being taken here by Forrest and Lekro. Bomb still left behind towards the back of the B apps. I do believe it is Lekro calling again for NiP. He had done it in the past. He actually had given it up to Get Right for a while. Get Right, of course, departing the team. I believe it's gone back to him. Can't think of who else would be doing it.
Well, his calls need to get them across a stacked up B site with pistols. Malta does get the one. There's more players coming in. Lekro spins around, but it's going to be Twist that actually finalizes Dexter. With only 10 seconds left, the bomb will get planted. Ins already committed fully. He's stuck in the kitchen, can't afford to back away. And that will be much to the delight of Rez and his UMP. So NiP take the lead, actually, for the first time in this game.
That is actually true. They were well behind early on in the first half. I believe it was something like 7-2, something around that area. Then they had that 5-round winning streak towards the end of the half, and now they've surpassed Grayhound, and they have them onto a full save, so a chance to extend it even further and be the first to reach double digits here on Mirage. Pretty much an A-bomb site stack here from Grayhound, save for Sicko, who was kind of patrolling mid, but even now he is going to be at the A-bomb site. And that is a site that NiP are hitting, funnily enough, so this could get interesting.
Sure could. Early on, it is pretty back and forth, but now the superior weaponry and aim is really beginning to shine. Sicko smoked out. He's not going to be able to re-engage the mode. Saw him get a few rounds earlier. And it will take a 2-round lead, but here we go. This is what they've been waiting for, the main course.
This is where we'll actually really understand how things are truly going to go here for NiP with this new lineup on the T side of this map. Also, we're learning Fnatic beat G2 16-4 on the opening map of that series on the other stream if you want the score update.
Grayhound taking the first blood early on. That crow crumbles. The rest of his team need to pick up the slack. It is Sicko with the AWP that has struck once again. Here comes the full set play. They're not quite pushing behind it just yet. There's Molotovs down in their way. Rez being burnt. There's a slight gap, which Dex can try and make the most of, but he's on the receiving end of the punishment. He's not the one dishing it out. Plopsky on the other end with his SG. Rez and himself, though, have been very heavily tagged up.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of utility dust.
Yeah, a lot of a stalemate going on here. Not much utility left for NiP, just that 1 HE grenade for Plopsky. So how can you ever smoke and cover yourself into a bomb plant? All the CTs are here just waiting at jungle and CT spawn. You basically just have to win out duels. Take control of something. Either push into jungle together, get those 2 kills, plant for Cat, or opposite, you got to push into CT spawn. Otherwise, you're just kind of sitting and stewing and hoping that Grayhound makes a mistake. This is so rough on NiP, given they have just no smoke coverage now.
They've missed their window to rotate as well and go to B. Now 30 seconds left and worrying about a potential push behind them. Forrest starts the push and he is put down by Sicko. Beautiful transfer of aim from Dick Stacy. With 1 HP, he will get a 3K. And it's a comfortable round at that. The confidence build.
That is a big one for Grayhound to get right back up against NiP. Stuffing that A side execute quite nicely. NiP gonna go for a bit of a default, but the op's actually going B apartments. It's 3 rifles towards the back of mid. Sicko is trying his luck once more. Not able to land a kill, but does have some damage onto Lekro.
Peeling out mid are the ninjas. The early damage does put them on the back foot to a degree. Going to start to take some mid control. Smoke into window, flash over. Does connect onto the CT box player of Sicko. He has to dart away for a few moments. Also, with that flash, it also affords Forrest a chance to start to move up connector slowly. Sicko did fall off from that very position. Dexter checking apps at the perfect moment of Palace.
Yep. Very nicely done. It's also catching twists. We do have Forrest in connector, and he's making some headway towards the jungle. The problem is so many kills are going the way of Grayhound in the process, but Forrest has a chance to sneak in here, but he's been spotted now by Malta. The gig's up.
Yep, spotted and now encircled by CTs. 30 seconds. Gonna try and barrel out onto Dexter. There's the headshot, trying to get the spray control in effect. The transition, though, doesn't work for him, rather against him. Plopsky hoping, praying that there's no one here in close proximity, but of course Malta is there eagle-eyed waiting. 10 seconds to go. Plopsky wants to die before time, so at least Malta will give him that.
And now we're all squared up again. Vince, and money's low for NiP, so it looks like Grayhound could be taking this lead right back any moment. They have played very well so far here on Mirage. Despite the fact it's a tie, NiP actually are fairly out-fragging the Greyhounds.
They are. It feels like when NiP win rounds, it's very comfortable and straight to the point, sort of for the jugular. When Greyhound win, it's a little bit more scrappy. They have to fight a little bit harder.
Right.
But also, you have to say as well, Dust, to be fair, NiP have already played their CT side, so that's really going to be exacerbated that much more.
Yeah, it's rare, but it does sometimes happen when the team who actually got the most frags on the server for the map wind up losing. Comes down to the key kills and whether or not you're able to get the objectives accomplished sometimes. So you are just seeing really the Deagles as the only real option here. Plopsky and Lekro trying to see what they can find out. NiP been able to get mid pretty much every time, but they haven't really been able to break through past that point very often. Their kind of mid to late round execute off the back of this has really faltered the last couple of times. And obviously in this round you can't expect much when it's just pistols.
And it does remind me to a degree of Inferno. Getting mid is one thing, and that's great, but doing anything with it is an entirely different ball game altogether. And this time NiP going to be moving up together as a united force. Going to try and punch through the B side. Dick Stacy stands between them. He is trying to jump scout for his team. He's found the information. Smoke down, going to force a terrorist into his way. A weird ragdoll is twist. Quite literally gets twisted in midair, but Dick Stacy has lost his life, as has Malta. This could yield them the bomb plant or not. The bomb has been dropped in an awkward position. 2 kills from NiP. No round. Greyhound, 3 rounds in a row, regain the lead.
Not much you could expect from NiP in that situation. But now they are back onto the full buy. No AWP in play, but rifles aplenty, including a SIG over on Plopsky. A little bit limited on utility, though, to be fair. So it's hard to take control of something and then go for the execute. You kind of have to use all your stuff at once. And here, it already has happened for NiP. They have used everything except for 3 flashes, 1 smoke, and 1 Molotov, and they don't really have much to show for it.
A bit of chip damage to Sicko, and to be fair, they're not even going to realize that. No way of knowing it. Smoke down onto ramp just to try and stall. NiP making another move over on the B side. They still have Lekro in mid. He's going to be throwing the smoke over towards the jungle connector. Here comes the flash. It's going to be a fast play. They're going to try and catch Greyhound out. Incendiary toss down. Rez gets the kill. They line up for Malta. And he will shuffle them out of the round and take this for Greyhound more than likely. They have the grizzled veteran of Forest still alive. And whenever he's alive, there's always a glimmer of a hope. Joined by Lekro, but they're so heavily outnumbered. The bomb's in a horrific position. They've both dropped down. They're going to be looking for kills. That's the only way back in the round. And Lekro is going to give them a lifeline. Here comes a second kill, potentially onto Malta, who sprayed up through the bench. And now it goes from incredibly unlikely to anybody's round. Time is still of the essence, though. They still need to make a move.
How can they get to the bomb? Sicko has an angle on it, I think, still with the AWP. They have to eventually jump up and grab it unless they can just get the kills, and Lekro has been able to get up close. He's gotten 1.
Bomb plant for Forest. He's going to be making a move into kitchen. So very close. But it is Forest that's left standing. And NiP pull off a 2v4 clutch.
Looking like that attack from NiP was really lacking a pack to its punch, but Forest is still out there duking it. Able to get up to 24 kills, come with a really big play. Obviously, Lekro had some assistance in that. Getting that kill onto the kitchen so that he could grab the bomb and bring it into the site. And now look at this, Greyhound just on 2 Deagles. And the rest USPs. Gives a chance for NiP to take the lead right back. NiP is going to find a very empty A bomb site here in a moment, Vince, and so this is obviously going to go their way. Gamble stack not paying off for Greyhound. You can't blame them from the gamble, but they've rolled the snake eyes.
No, certainly not. Always like to see when a team at least tries something. In these kind of pistols, you may as well. The chance of you standing tall and default positions with USPs and fending off the terrorists is so very small. So why not give it a punt? But in the meanwhile, as you'd expect, they have conceded quite a few kills already. Map control going to be sitting in with the Deagle on Sicko. Couple USPs, HE. NiP will be taking the lead once more.
Two Deagles will carry over, make that just one. NiP looking for kills. Sicko able to hold on for a bit there, bring one down, but that's going to be about all she wrote. 12 to 11. Grayhound back up to the full buy, though. Sicko with the AWP as well into the mix. Twist will have one in his disposal as well. What are we going to see here now? It's down to the wire.
So many flashes in mid, but in still somehow, some way will annul Lekro's life. Flashes out of the B-apps. Molotovs landing on top of the site all around.
Oh,
Dick Stacy, who's in liquid fire. And Plopsky puts him down. And he is looking for more kills. The youngster can sense the blood. He can sense the weakness. And he is unrelenting, showing no mercy. Resner, meanwhile, from the backside with the flank. The perfect flank. 2 kills go his way. NiP take a 2-round lead, and Grayhound back to being broke.
yeah, it's just kind of a little two-man aggression through B apartments where no one was facing them from van or bench, so it allowed Plopsky to jump the window. Dick Stacy had him right above him, had a chance to get the frag, could not. It allows Plopsky to get 2. Twist with the follow-up, then Rez cuts off the rotation. That's a done deal for NiP, up to 13. Grayhound back to just upgraded pistols. And NiP are steering ever closer to ripping this map pick away from Grayhound and knocking him to the lower bracket, perhaps even. Obviously, Overpass is next, NiP's pick.
Fast lead starting to accrue for NiP where it counts the most. It was a rough start. They have stabilized and now shifting through the gears, looking to lay waste. Greyhound's map pick. Malta going to get the drop on Plopsky. It is an AK-47 that trades hands. That's all well and good, but he's got no Kevlar behind it. May even think further down the line if his teammates die and Inz is being burnt to a crisp about saving that AK. Maybe in that territory right now with a smoke down. Does he actually go for it? Nope. Throws the nade out. That's his parting gift. Meanwhile, Dick Stacy only has a P250. It's worth his while to stick around and see if maybe he can cause a little bit more mayhem. But NiP, whichever way you spin it here, Dust, they're going to have a 14-11 lead.
It is indeed the case. Malta at least able to bring an AK over, at least for now. I'm not sure if he'll eventually get chased down. Rez isn't too far away from him here over towards T-spawn. Dick Stacy, meanwhile, the P250 trying to see if he can't bring some guns down. Probably steal one away for himself. Not going to happen. He does bring one off, but Forrest immediately trades that back. Malta trying to hold on. Rez runs him down, though. Malta able to find the frag, and he will get away with that AK. Unless Lekro is able to get there in time. He did, but Malta still wins that duel as well, so that gun will get carried over. Plenty of money for Grayhound to buy around it as well. Tactical timeout coming in to take some extra time to think about this. Obviously, a lot of pressure on Grayhound here. This is their pick. Ninjas are just one round away from map point. And have been absolutely on fire here lately on the T-side. Well, in the last 4 in a row. Not much success from Grayhound at all when it comes to the gun rounds. Plus, NiP had the 3-0 start thanks to the pistol victory.
Gotta give credit as well to Forrest. What a performance he has had. 27-11, 112 ADR.
Curious we
big
have
performance.
A double op setup on T-side from NiP. It's not something you see very often. Twist had a good spawn for A ramp. He's looking to take that duel. Meanwhile, Forrest will be heading up to the apartments.
Some flirtation around mid, but nothing that's really going to stick. As the Ninjas have already pulled back. There has been some aggression in bygone rounds from the likes of Inns pushing up with flashbangs. It's not going to be the case now, but P is still going to be vigilant. Because in this kind of a situation, some teams may throw caution to the wind and get a bit of desperation come in, try and take the fight to the adversaries.
Right. Yeah, these ops are not finding much of anything to do here. Forrest has been just trying to figure out something towards B apartments. I think it is being jump spotted right now by Dick Stacy, but he hasn't got enough of a look to actually take a shot. I'm not sure if Dick Stacy will eventually give him one. In the meantime, NiP just really taking their time elsewhere. Now finally gathering up for a B apartments attack. Utility will be coming out here any moment now, so it's all going to come down to Dick Stacy and Malta to put a stop to this rush.
A slew of flashes blinding the eyes of Grayhound. Malta has been untouched by most of them. And his AK-47 is true for a 4K. Could be on for the ace. What a moment to pull this off. Forrest still alive, still kicking. Battling until the bitter end to keep his team at Malmö. Gonna get the drop onto Malta, but time is scarce, and Inns is gonna pop up from kitchen. So Grayhound, in one of their final buys, had they have lost it, have somehow made it work, mainly down to Malta's brilliance.
That was really fantastic work. Had a couple of teammates putting the pressure on NiP, diverting their attention, allowing Malta to get a couple of extra kills off the back of the site pillar. So well done. That keeps Grayhound very much in the hunt this game, especially since NiP's money is very low, but so is Grayhound's. If Grayhound were to lose this, they would be in a really tough low buy for next round. Obviously, they'd be spending all that they could, but it wouldn't amount to much. In the meantime, NiP would be forced to save on a loss here as well, which give Grayhound a chance to tie this thing right back up at 14 all. So a lot hinges on this round. You have to feel, Vince.
Certainly a fulcrum point round. Whoever wins this is in a very good position indeed. If it's NiP, Grayhound may already have a foot out of their choice of map of Mirage. If not, it's well and truly back on. Going the distance. Rez taking point in Palace by himself. Two players actually positioned up close. Dexter and Inns both in shadow.
Yeah, but one good Molotov could really ruin that. Even if they have a smoke to extinguish, it gives them away. But it could just be that one goes out and one stays behind. That's whenever you could play some mind games. Immediate extinguish, so NiP can even play off of it.
Yeah, and Sicko's almost baiting his two teammates down in shadow as well. Forrest has been racked by a smoke and finished off. There's nade tossed in there as well. Spin around from Dexter. Rez pummeled through the balcony. And Twist has got the hell out of there. They executed pretty late. So he could feasibly hold on to the AWP, but he's actually going to take it up close into Palace, where he will meet Inns, who introduces himself with an SG round to the head. So Grayhound win the round itself, and well, they're right back in this. NiP are looking at an eco.
Was the repercussions that the loser of that round was going to suffer was not having a whole lot to work with in round number 28. Tactical timeout coming in here from NiP. Really not much they can do here, to be honest with you. I mean, you can't really spend any money in this round if you want to have a good buy in the next. Feels like this is kind of just a throwaway round. I mean, I'm not really sure what they could come up with otherwise. I don't know if there's some type of maybe quick, low utility set piece they feel they can run with some upgraded pistols that might at least get them a bomb plant. Or if they just want to kind of calm it down and talk about what they want to do after this round's over. Either way. Should be a tie game coming up here soon. NiP indeed are not going to purchase anything at all. Say that Rez does pick up a deagle at the very tail end.
Yeah, just the deagle though, with no utility, no flashes or smokes. To be a rather raw push if they do decide to go all out on B. Ryan's going to be going in first. Maybe seeing if he can get a pick They have already got a couple off the jump peekers. This time it's going to be Dick Stacy again.
This is a very slow round from NiP, despite the fact that they don't have much to work with. Maybe just hoping Rez might find something with the Deagle. Spot one up the connector, but no frag landed. Evolve Dexter at the mid window, having no trouble finding a couple. Let's take some damage along the way. Ends now supporting from the connector.
I mean, that's just Glocks in a nutshell, isn't it? It sounded like he got dinked about 15 times, and yet he's still alive. 14 HP. That range against armor, absolutely dreadful damage on the Glock. But Grayhound going to be able to navigate their way through a Deagle 4 Glock round, as you'd expect. But the reason for holding off on the buy is so that NiP can have a very solid one now. SGs and AKs going to be coming at Grayhound.
Big round here. Winner is going to get map points. Grayhound does have some reserve cash to fight for OT if NiP were to get to 15 first. NiP, not really the same story. They would be in a really dire shape. Probably would be just GG in favor of Grayhound if NiP lose this round. NiP, same slow approach as we've seen time and time again. Very much just kind of doing this slow play. Every now and then they have a couple of extra players towards B apartments or something like that, but we've never really seen them go for anything fast.
I mean, you can understand why things have started to slow down in the intensity. Maybe dipping a little bit. There is so much on the line. Both teams incredibly close to getting the first map under their belt. Huge advantage in an elimination best of 3. But NiP typically struggled when they've slowed things down. I feel like when they're more explosive and like Plopsky getting out there and Forrest is claiming a bunch of headshots, that's when they're at their best.
Yeah, that's very true. They're just hoping that someone's going to give them something, then they can explode. They just want to get that quick 5-on-4 first, or at least get that added bit of information, maybe cause a bit of a rotation, just try to get something favorable. But that bomb is still left back to the apartment. There's only 25 seconds left. This could be a real huge problem. Luckily, the kills are coming in, though, for NiP, but they need to get this bomb somewhere, anywhere at all. It doesn't matter, but if they go A, Ends has a chance maybe to still shut it down.
Yeah, they got some entries towards middle and B side. He's going to go for the shot. Oh! Smoke! Oh, I thought he had given up. Ins was so passive. Like a snake in the grass. And Forrest is going to thread the headshot through the smoke of short. Twist in the meanwhile, finds Sicko. But my goodness, NiP used every single second, squeezed every moment. And if they're allocated time, it so nearly went wrong.
Oh, it definitely did. Imagine if they don't spam that smoke under the balcony, and then the bomb just comes waltzing in up A ramp and gets shot in the back. It's a round loss right there, and you probably lose the map because of it, because of your economy. But somehow, NiP makes it happen. Now they have to try to go for the quick split here on A to see if they can finish this thing off, but Grayhound are well positioned. 2 towards jungle. Dexter up close, smoking and delaying NiP here.
Houston window will yield a kill, but Lecro has been silenced afterwards. However, this puts Ins in an awkward position. He has to watch multiple angles alone. Dexter's still on default. The Swedes now making a move much quicker than the last few rounds. Maybe catching Grayhound a little bit off guard, and they haven't fully committed either. They're having to keep players over on B in case it is a fake.
They have to respect that threats. NiP has yet to show their hand. Meanwhile, Forrest just continues to battle at middle. This still really doesn't tell Grayhound anything at all. Now they just have to worry about a threat up a catwalk. You know, this kind of forces Ins to really keep his mind about mid, and still Dexter can't move. Or, excuse me, Malta with the AWP. He's got to stick in these B apartments. This is fantastic from NiP. It's looking like the finish line is just around the corner.
Forrest on a fact-finding mission. Ins is the first port of call. AK in the back, trading for the AWP. Double AWP setup in a 2v4. Dexter with 1, instantly avenged. And now Malta from range is going to try and stop the plant, but it's on the other side. It's towards default. So Malta's going to have to get up close and personal. Going to be trading across to the AK as a result. Does have a little bit of utility, an incendiary and a smoke. Additionally, there's a kit, but look at Rez. He's doing the long rotation. He's coming around to mid. This could be the play that seals NiP the map. Smoke and Molotov both put to the back of the site. That smoke is completely off. He's bargained on someone being on firebox. It's not the case. And twist on CT boxes. It's going to pummel him down. As NiP eviscerate Grayhound at the end on their choice of map. 1-0 they lead.
Forrest with the throwback performance this game. 32 kills. He played fantastic. Really no one from NiP lacked too much. It was a pretty brilliant effort across the board. It was a close game. It wasn't always pretty. They played from behind through a lot of it, but in the end, they had stolen Mirage away from Grayhound. Now they get to move on to their map pick Overpass. Again, the winner of this series gets a guaranteed playoff spot, and they also get a shot at maybe a direct route to the semifinals. Loser moves down to that lower bracket, has to battle it out a little bit longer for a chance at the top 8 and top 6. I'm Vince, with me is Dust. Hope you folks are enjoying the broadcast. If you are, be sure to stay tuned because we do have at least one more map to go here today. Plus, we have 3 best-of-3s tomorrow to finish off the group stage. You can also go to follow Switchcasters in chats. And if you want to talk about the games and whatnot on social media, be sure using the hashtag DHMasters. But we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be bringing that map number 2 and Overpass, so stay tuned.